He's like, watch. And then bees did come over and like start looking at the body parts. Like, they're like, what happened here? Well, I don't think it's interesting enough. I'll show you after.
Celebrating 10.
Brittany just rejected one of her own ideas for the pod. We edit as we go.
That's right. Celebrating 10 of improv.
Yeah, 10 of improv.
That's what it says.
Oh, man.
Celebrating 10 of improv.
I guess we will talk about it now.
It's so good.
The AI generator cannot produce shirts that say exactly
anything.
what I want it to say. Which seems like the simplest thing to do.
Yes, put words on a fucking shirt.
That took like 10 attempts. And I thought it was right, but it's missing a word still.
Yeah, it's missing years.
Yeah.
Celebrating 10 of improv.
I'm just copying and pasting what I want them to do over and over until they get it right.
Until they get it, yeah.
It's like, but they kind of randomly get it right eventually.
Yes. Yeah.
Like those cats that gets, like the Skinner's cats we've talked about maybe on the pod.
We've definitely talked about Skinner's cats, but remind me of what they are.
It's like a really old psychology experiment where they would put cats in a box and it has all these different like things in it, and the cat doesn't know what gets it out of the box.
Oh.
But through random like attempts, it eventually like hits the thing that gets it out.
Yeah.
So it learns, but it's like all these random attempts first.
Gotcha.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yes, it's Skinner's cat of improv.
I think I'm teaching the AI how to put words on a shirt.
You're right. You're doing a public service.
It is like double the amount of time. The 2 times I've done this for our posts on Instagram, it's like double the amount of time that it takes me.
Yeah. It's
I think I gotta stop. But I also love it because it's like whenever it's slightly wrong, I'm like, oh, it's AI,
funny.
You know?
I know. Also, like, I'm a graphic designer and you could be like, hey, can you make a shirt that says 10 years of improv?
Yeah.
And then you're just like, AI? I'll ask it 15 times and get it wrong.
Yeah.
And post it anyway. It reminds me of my favorite, I'm sure we've talked about this on the pod before, but my favorite thing, because the way that our like, pod business works is that I do like the editing and the clips and stuff. And then Brittany does like all of the like social media and Instagram shit. So she posts everything. And so we do the carousels of like the things that we talked about. And every once in a while I'll like edit, like I'll graphic design a thing for the page. Yeah. But my favorite one that you've ever done was you took a picture of a bull terrier and then just wrote Nike Cortez over it and then posted it.
And I made that in an Instagram story. I just opened up stories and then I added the word Nike Cortez
over a bull terrier.
Saved it and I posted it.
It was my favorite thing ever.
In case you haven't heard the episode, we realized on a pod that bull terriers look like the shoe Nike Cortez.
Yes.
Go see for yourself.
Yes.
I'll repost the picture.
Google both. Yeah. Also, it's just funny because like what you could have done is post a bull terrier next to a Nike Cortez.
Yeah.
But instead you just wrote the word.
I think I may have started attempting that and was like, it's too hard to make this look nice in an Instagram story that I save because it's all rudimentary. Like I don't have the real tools.
Yeah.
Or really the motivation.
Yeah. So you're just like Nike Cortez. Great. It fucking cracks my shit up. I was looking for something the other day that we had posted and I came across it and I was like,
what was it?
I was just looking for the post where it was like Betty for president.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome to the pod.
Welcome to Worthless Clowns. It's a podcast about how stupid we all are. I'm Brittany Cardwell for Jonas Cardwell on Instagram. I always got a gun to my head again.
I'm Brittany Cardwell. It sounds like NPR.
Yeah, and wow. They're always like, wow. Oh, no, I'm thinking of Radiolab. Completely different. Radiolab, actually, I have a story to tell about Radiolab, but maybe I should do it on the next episode.
Well, hold on. Let me say my Instagram
It'll
handle.
come in a different episode.
Okay, cool. Yeah, write it down. We'll talk about it next episode. But I'm Ali O'Neill. You can find me on Instagram at It's Ali O'Neill. And follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, subscribe to our YouTube, write us in at worthlessclownspod@gmail.com. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The one thing I will say about Radiolab.
Okay, dude,
I'll do a story later.
You were just sitting there brewing about Radiolab.
I'm like, come on, Ali, get your Instagram out. Let me say my Radiolab
All
thing.
right, let's talk about
It's not even that
Radiolab.
good. It's just the editing really annoys me of that pod. Have you listened to it recently?
I've never listened to it, I don't think.
I used to listen to it quite a bit, and I guess I forgot what it was like. But it's like very much, it's edited so much where there's like 3 or 4 people. There's usually like a couple people who are part of the podcast, and then like one person they interviewed, and you hear audio from them on the pod.
Yeah.
And they'll like really piecemeal it in a way that I think is supposed to be like attention grabbing. But for me, it's really distracting. It'll be like the interviewer being like, so I asked him, what do you imagine when you think of this? And then they'll start playing what he said without any like, it's just too fast. And then like in the middle of the guy responding, you'll hear the other people being like, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's really hard to explain.
Oh, it's like
I mean, they're very popular.
Yeah,
so,
they are. They're like one of the top 10 biggest pods, I think.
So maybe I just have some kind of like specific expectation about conversations.
Is it like when Gen Z people like post a TikTok and they start talking like before the TikTok starts recording? So it's like, hey guys, it's just like immediate. It like cuts and is it weird cuts like that?
There's a lot of cuts and a lot of interrupting and a lot of like one person starts a sentence and the other person kind of ends the idea.
Oh, I see.
And I find it distracting, but I think a lot of people like it.
Oh yeah,
give it up for Radiolab.
It's like the Kid Rock video where he's like, "This is how I feel about Bud Light."
That is this is how I feel.
Oh my god!
Yeah. How are you? I didn't answer you yet. I didn't answer, but
I'm like, how are you? And you're like, Radiolab.
I talk a lot, so I'll let you talk. I read the rules. I know how to do this.
I have big news.
What?
I have big news that you don't even know yet.
What?
I found out some big news today.
Oh my god.
So
is it Betty related? Wait, can I guess?
Yes.
It's Betty related.
Yeah.
She's not having puppies. That would be crazy.
No, I ripped that shit out a long time ago.
She can't do that again.
No. She doesn't have a
uterus.
Her
nipples can't take anything else.
Her nipples cannot take another round of puppies. Yeah. You're right.
Okay, it's about Betty. What could be exciting for Betty? Is it exciting for her or for you?
For me. For me only, really.
Dave's getting a dog.
No.
Oh.
That would be exciting for Betty.
I don't know. Wait, she is going to be mayor.
It's exciting for me only.
We'll put up the Betty for mayor post again.
She has to do so much paperwork.
She's always wanted to be the mayor. She already thinks she is.
That's true,
and now we don't have to tell her she never was.
Yeah. No, she's going to be vice president if Kamala wins.
Yeah.
No, so I got her DNA results back.
Ooh, this is fun.
Okay, so
how could I not have guessed this?
Well, I mean, I don't think you even knew that I got this thing.
No, but I hear enough about people getting DNA for their dog.
Totally.
It feels like it should have been on the top. But
yeah.
I only had one idea.
You were like, she's going to be mayor. And I'm like, it's weird. She's 40% mayor. So I thought, like, when I got her, I was like talking to my brother, and he was like, oh, like, if you get a fucking DNA test, she's gonna be 100% American Pit Bull Terrier. Yeah. And I was like, you think? And he's like, yeah, totally, 100%. So I never bought one, but then my friend Leah got me one for my birthday because I had told her that story. And so I got it back today, and she's, okay, ready, guys? 40% American Pit Bull Terrier, but that's only 40%.
Yeah.
28% American Staffordshire Terrier, which is like a pit bull, but it looks slightly different from the American Pit Bull Terrier.
But that's only 28%.
Only 28%.
That's also 28%.
Yeah. That's right,
hey,
Brittany.
How much anxiety percentage does she have?
Oh, it's 100%. Okay, 14% Borabel.
I don't know what that is.
I looked it up. It's like a South African Mastiff.
Ooh,
It's like a 200-pound dog.
Whoa.
11% Bull Mastiff. Another 200-pound dog.
That's why she's so heavy and dense. It's like everything got packed in.
I know.
Like a black hole.
Exactly. She has the density of a dying star. It's actually insane. And she's like not that big. She's like, she comes up to my knee. Her head comes up to my knee.
She's so small, but she's so heavy.
Yeah, she's like 60 powerful. And then she's 3% boxer, 2% bulldog, and 2% mastiff.
Whoa.
So she's like 25% mastiff.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, which is a 200-pound guard dog.
That's wild.
And so my theory is that like they were trying to breed guard dogs and then they got the most nervous dog in America.
Yeah.
And then they abandoned it in a dumpster.
Oh, yeah. I forgot she came from breeders.
Yeah.
So they were expecting something.
I think she did. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But so that's my big news today.
Man.
And I sent it to like everybody in my contacts, but I saved it for you because I knew we were going to have the pod today.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
After the pod, I'm going to pull up every dog that you mentioned and I'm going to try and imagine myself how they should go together. Like we should draw that, like all the different proportions from each.
Yeah.
It's like, it looks like a mashup of all the different dogs.
Yeah.
It's got one dog's ear and like another, like that's how she should look.
Yeah. Oh my God. Also, an interesting thing. This might just only be interesting to me, but it came up with like a bunch of genetic traits that she has based on her like genetic makeup. And one thing, she has cropped ears, so I don't know what her ears looked like, but I assumed she was a full pit bull, so I assumed she had those floppy ears.
Yeah.
It says that she most likely has like ears that stand up.
Oh, the pointy ones.
Yeah. But like I would never know because she just has like fucking cropped ears, you know?
Why'd they crop her ears then? Because isn't it related to them being floppy and biteable in a fight?
But it's also mostly just to make them look
floppy and
tough.
biteable in a fight.
Isn't it mostly related to them being floppy and biteable in a fight? What was the word you used? Fucking...
Please acknowledge the sentence I gave you. The word I used.
The word that you used, we were talking about the beach last week, and you were like... And you were like, oh, it's like, you know, when you get into a car crash and you're drunk and your body like...
Oh, labile.
Labile. Floppy, biteable, labile.
You know, I read all day and I look up words I don't know. And the podcast is a chance for me to use those big words.
Well, Brittany, we're all very impressed. We're all very impressed.
I'm crying already. Man.
Floppy, biteable, and labile. The Betty Boop story. Brittany's losing her goddamn mind.
We haven't even gotten to my updates.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
We have so long to go. Sometimes when I do this, I'm like, is this something my therapist needs to know about? Because sometimes I'll just laugh uncontrollably. I don't know if that's important.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
I think it just means you're
I think it's just
laughing
fun.
at yourself for saying floppy and biteable in fights.
Well, that is exciting news.
Yeah. So what are your updates?
Did you try and tell Betty?
I did. She was like laying on my bed and I was like,
you drew a chart?
Yeah. I turned around and was like, Betty, you have a bunch of mastiff in you. And she was like, I'm trying to nap. She was like, what?
Man, my eyes are like blurry from these tears.
God.
Got these
I'm glad
salty
that
tears in my eyes.
I'm glad that we grabbed that. There's sometimes when I'm listening to the pod and you just say the most ridiculous shit, and I'm like trying to talk, so like I like don't realize the funny thing that you said. But it was in a clip recently where you're like, I would be a great citizen just to have good lights. I would be the perfect citizen just to have good lights. And I was trying to like riff, so I just like I missed it. But it, like when I was editing the pod, I was like, "This is the funniest thing I've ever heard." Anyway, what are your updates?
I went to Philadelphia this weekend.
That's right.
Well, sorry, my eyes are still watering. I'm fine. Do
you need to fucking smoke a cigarette?
Don't ask me about it. I'm fine.
If you ask her if she's okay, she'll start crying.
Yeah, I will. Not today because my emotions are good.
I won't cry today. My emotions are good.
Ask me yesterday. Yeah, I was in Philly. Well, outside of Philly, an hour. That's where my brother lives. I was visiting him. My parents were out there for the weekend. We're all hanging out with the baby.
Amazing Lucy.
She's adorable.
Oh,
She's so cute.
1.5 is such a cute age.
Oh my God. And she loves everybody.
Oh.
She trusts everyone, maybe too much. Like we went on this walk and she waved. There were probably 50 people that we walked past. And she waves at every one of them, blows kisses at all of them. Like she can't really talk yet, but she'll be like,
yeah.
She's like doing dolphin noises. She was like acting like she was the prom queen.
Yeah. She's the mayor.
Yeah, she was like on a float.
She's out there shaking hands, kissing babies, trying to get reelected.
Everyone on that walk knew her.
That's so cute.
Yeah, she's
also
great.
like a baby that looks like that, you're fucking waving back. If you don't wave back, you're a monster.
Yeah, she's adorable. But yeah, the weekend was good. Spent time with the family. I slept on an air mattress that had a leak in it.
Pretty cool. So
I'd
you
wake
woke up on the
ground
floor
every day. But I managed to sleep well anyway.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And then a bunch of family stuff happened that I wanted to talk about. We'll see how much I can get through. We went to, excuse me, this isn't really family related. We went to an animal, like a farm.
Oh, cool.
I wanted to call it an animal farm.
That's usually
just
what's
a farm.
on farms.
Yeah. And I got to see pigs and goats, and I loved it, and sheep and baby cows. I feel like I liked it more than the baby did.
Yeah.
We did it for her, but I was more excited. I think.
You were like, I think that Lucy would really like this.
Yeah. Well, I tried to do the same thing with Benjamin. One time when I was home, I was like, we should go to a petting zoo for Benjamin. We never went, but I think I can make it happen.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. And then
have Benjamin and Lucy met?
No, I'm excited for them to meet.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah. I think he'll be excited.
Totally.
And then at the petting zoo, you could buy like feed for $0.25 and put it down this tube.
Oh,
and it would shoot to the animals, which kind of sucked because then it's
they couldn't eat it out of your hand?
You couldn't interact with them.
Oh, that's
It was kind of sad. And then it shoots down a tube and you can't see them once they get it. You can't even see them enjoying it. And they're picking it up out of sand. So it's like an annoying task for them. But it's also all they have. So that was actually kind of sad. They didn't seem that happy.
Yeah, so like what even is the point of feeding an animal if you can't see it?
Yeah.
You know?
But they let people walk around the farm and like see the animals. I think they don't want to be responsible probably for like interactions. There's nobody around to like guide people.
Totally, yeah. And if it was like a petting zoo thing, then I bet like goats would try to bite.
They'd eat your clothes.
They would eat your clothes.
But that's part of the fun.
I know, yeah. You go there with clothes that you don't mind being eaten.
Yeah.
For that reason exactly.
Do you know why their pupils are rectangular? I meant to look it up.
I think it has something to do with a cat's pupil is like goes up and down. And I think that has to do with seeing like movement and scanning and hunting. But as a prey animal, if you have a horizontal pupil, you have a wider range of everything at all times and probably less good specific vision. Huh. If that makes sense.
They're so square though.
I know they look so freaky.
Yeah.
When you like really look at them. They look like octopus eyes.
Yeah. I'm going to read about them. Anyway, my dad was like, so we wanted $0.25 for the feed, right? He's like, oh, I think I have $0.25. And he got one out. I don't know why I had to act that out. I just, I'm so embarrassed.
In case you're on YouTube.
Acted out getting $0.25 out of my pocket.
In case if you're on our YouTube and you don't know what it looks like to look for $0.25.
Don't zoom in and clip it up and post it somewhere.
Don't you dare zoom in and clip it up.
It really bothers me when people overact out stories.
Yeah.
And I just did it.
Yeah.
I just did it.
You were like, I think I have $0.25. And then you do this, you're like...
He was like, I'm out.
You're like acting out the $0.25. You like do this and you're like... and then you throw it up and catch it in your hand. Tails.
And then I try and hit someone's knuckles with it.
Yeah. You put it in a gumball machine and you twist it and you go...
So he's like, oh, I think I have $0.25, and he gets it out and he does the feed thing, and then he goes up to my brother and he's like, hey, Casey, that $0.25, I found it in that parking lot where I picked you up. So he like really, really wanted to be like, here's where this quarter's from. I remember where we got it.
Oh my God.
And it's related to my son. I got to tell my son.
Your dad is 100% autistic.
It was so funny.
Trying to connect. He's like, hey, remember that parking lot I picked you up in? Found a quarter in it. No big deal. No, don't make a big deal out of it. It's no big deal, guys. I just found that quarter there.
Yeah. And then what else happened? I made a list. My dad was telling me a story about chipmunks, and we all know how my dad murders gophers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's at 72 this year.
Holy
no, I don't
shit.
actually know, but I wouldn't be surprised
crazy.
if it was that
That's
number.
a huge number.
Yeah,
That's
his
a
numbers
genocide.
are huge.
Yeah.
He was telling me, he's like, I get these chipmunks in my garage, and they make nests in his
Yeah.
in
They
his
chew on
cars
wires
and stuff. And then they chew on wires and mess stuff up. He had to
Yeah.
like get replacements for a windshield wiper, and he was like, yeah, so I got to deal with them. So what I did one night, I thought one was probably in your mom's car, and so I go sit in our pontoon boat, and I got my pellet gun, and I sit there the whole night. He's sitting there the whole night waiting for the chipmunk to come by or come out of the car.
Oh my God.
So he can shoot it. And he thinks that's going to solve the problem.
That's what my dad does.
That's what your dad does.
That's literally what my
With
dad
chipmunks
does.
too?
It is chipmunks, and he doesn't like the chipmunks because they eat his tomatoes.
Yeah.
And so he will, if you like open the back door of his house, it comes out onto a patio that has all of his like little potted plants.
Yeah.
And so he'll crack the door open of the patio, and so he can see the tomato plants, and he'll sit in a chair with a BB gun.
Man, they gotta meet.
Yeah, I know. They would
think,
love
though,
each other.
I feel like because they're so similar, they won't even be able to see each other or something. Like something crazy will happen.
Or they'll be extremely jealous. They'll be like, I don't like that guy.
Like, I think they're supposed to be in parallel worlds.
Yeah.
And they somehow are in the same world.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But I don't think we can let them meet.
I know. They would be too powerful.
Yeah.
Every chipmunk in America would die if they got together.
Yeah. And then he saw the chipmunk go into a tree.
Mm-hmm.
So he followed it, and he's like,
Into the tree?
Chipmunk didn't see me. He saw the chipmunk go into the car, but then leave, and he followed it to a tree.
Holy shit.
Or something. And he said he saw the chipmunk like stretched out on a branch, like bathing in the sun. That's how my dad described it.
He's like, look at this fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Just soaking it all up.
Yeah.
No job. Making
No
nests.
sunscreen.
No, making nests in my wife's car.
Yeah. And he shoots it. And he's like, I felt bad for the kids.
The kids of the chipmunk.
Yeah. He acts like he knows exactly which ones are related.
Yeah, every
something.
chipmunk looks exactly the same.
Yeah. So that was funny, just hearing him tell that story.
Yeah.
And like, what's funny about him too is like, I mean, he knows it's a story.
Yeah.
It's a fun story.
Yeah.
But he's not laughing at himself in
No,
the story.
yeah. Because he's like in hunting mode.
Yeah.
He thinks it's an interesting story, like he's telling like a Vietnam War
Yes,
story.
yes.
But it's a funny story because it's a retired man
Spending all
in
his
his
time
70s tracking down a chipmunk and shooting it in a tree.
Yeah.
Sitting in his
Staying
garage
up late
with a BB gun.
coffee and like
Yeah.
sunflower seeds, trying
Yeah.
to keep himself up.
Yeah.
Like a cop, like
Yeah.
trying to scope out an apartment or
Yeah,
something.
he's like eating donuts in his car.
Yeah.
Like a PI. God.
That was funny. And then I think I got to get through this. I'll just do one more short one. My little brother was like telling me about some lobster tour that him and his wife went on.
Tour of lobsters?
Yeah, like a lobster tour in Baltimore
Interesting.
or something.
Okay.
He was like, yeah, it was really cool. Like they tell you about all the, I don't know, they tell you all these facts about him and all this stuff. And I didn't know this and blah, blah, blah. Like he said all this normal stuff.
Mhm.
And then at the end, he's like, and then they put a lobster on your head. So also not saying it as a funny, this is
does
funny,
that mean?
but being like, this is also a fun, like a cool
Yeah.
part. He's like, yeah, then they put a lobster on your head.
The thing that gets me about that is, and then they put a lobster on your head, so. And then you're like, so what? What does that mean? So I guess it was a good day. Like, what does that fucking mean? So.
Oh yeah, you've met him. I was gonna say you love him.
I have met him.
But you haven't spent time with him really.
No, I saw him like very briefly at
He's so
Ambush
funny.
one night. Yeah. He's your younger brother, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I'll do this later. I don't have time. There's too many stories. Yeah, that's my younger brother.
Oh, yeah. God, that's amazing. Should we get into our stupid stories?
Yeah, you want to go
Yeah.
first?
I've told you this before. I haven't told it on the pod. But so I love T-Pain.
Mm-hmm.
I love T-Pain a lot. Every time he comes, I think he's a very talented artist.
Is this the thing I really know?
The thing that me and Dave explained to you on the train.
Yeah.
On the way to see
Yeah,
T-Pain.
let's do it.
So I asked him if it was okay if I told this story, and he's like, yeah, just make it, take care telling this story. And I was like, of course I will.
Can we make fun of him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, here it goes.
So
I've already done this so much in my mind.
So basically, I love T-Pain, and one of the reasons why I love T-Pain is because he makes like fun Atlanta strip club music, but he's also an extremely talented artist who just decided to make really fun party music and use auto-tune and shit, and everybody thought he was a joke because
And he believes in himself.
Yes, totally.
Which I found out.
Yes. Thank you, Brittany. And he believes in himself. And I'm like, yes, he does, Brittany. That's right. And so I am like a evangelist for T-Pain because I'm like, so Dave, for my birthday, got me tickets to go see T-Pain in Central Park. And Brittany came, and
Lizzie.
Joe Nunnick and Lizzie came, and it was like a really fun time. And so every time I'm telling people I'm going to go see T-Pain, they're like, oh, T-Pain. And I'm like, he's one of my favorite artists. Yeah. He won The Masked Singer season 1. He's a very talented singer, blah, blah, blah. I'm always like trying to convince them that
I've read
T-Pain
his Wikipedia page 10 times.
That's right. That's right.
You do the edits?
Yeah. And his full name is Tylenol Pain. Tylenol Pain Relief.
I read that it was Tennessee Pain.
Is it?
I read that somewhere because I was reading about him before the show. I was
love
like, I gotta get into this.
Brittany's gonna go see a concert, and instead of listening to the music, she reads the Wikipedia of the guy. I love that. Anyway,
but yeah, I think it was Tennessee.
On the way,
he grew up there or something.
That makes sense. He's he's like a Southern boy.
Yeah.
But so on the way, or the day of the concert, I was like, oh, dude, I'm so excited to see T-Pain. Baby, you're going to love him. I was talking to Dave. I was like, baby, you're going to love him. The way he dances, he sings so well. He's like so much fun. And Dave was like, can I tell you something? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I know this sounds ridiculous, but I'm getting a little jealous of T-Pain. I'm getting a little jealous about the way that you talk about T-Pain. And I'm like, baby, what? And so like, obviously, I laugh at him.
I don't dance. I don't use auto-tune in my stand-up.
Yeah. He's like, you never talk about me this way. And like, I obviously laugh at him for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we start having this conversation where I'm like, baby, obviously, the way that I feel about you and the way that I feel about T-Pain is very different. And he's like, no, I know. Like, he knew it was ridiculous, but I think that since I was just like singing the praises of a man a bunch, that like
and probably dancing around and like
and like
skipping.
listening to his music.
I bet you're skipping.
Yeah, I was skipping around my apartment, being like, look at that beat. And then
I mean, that's how you have to feel about an artist like that.
Totally.
It'd be weird if you didn't.
Yeah.
If you like listen to it all the time and had no feelings like that.
Totally.
Like Usher. I feel that way about Usher.
Totally.
I don't know that guy.
Yes.
But I feel like that.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Actually, that was in high school. I felt like that. I didn't really follow him after that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But yeah.
So me and Dave started having this conversation about how he's a little bit jealous of T-Pain. And I'm like, obviously I feel much different about you than I feel about T-Pain. Like T-Pain is just an artist I like. And he's like, yeah, well, the thing is like, I think you're the most beautiful girl in the world. And I'm afraid that we're going to like be out there and then T-Pain's going to see you. And
and he's gonna see you out of thousands of people.
Yeah. And be like,
you're gonna
get up
accept
here.
the requests.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. And then I was
whatever they may be.
And then I was like, baby, T-Pain has a wife. Like, we got so far into this like hypothetical idea that T-Pain would see me at the concert. And I'm like, and baby, if T-Pain called me up on stage and we made out, we would work through it. And he's like, what? And I was like, what? We just like kept like getting into this.
He's like, you made me imagine you making out with him.
Yeah. I know.
I didn't have that in my imagination yet. Now you put it in there.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking about it.
And he's like, now I'm worried for real.
Yeah.
And so what kept happening is we kept like getting into these hypothetical situations about T-Pain seeing me at the show.
Yeah.
And then like talking about them as if they were like real. And then like getting like worked up and being like, baby, I'm like, we would work through it. And he's like, we'd have to break up. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, nobody is making out with T-Pain at this show.
Then it's like you guys have to go through every single scenario you can generate and disqualify all of them in order for the relationship to continue.
Yeah, I know.
Is that what you did?
No, it was just...
You have like 1,000 left, but you're like taking a break.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're working through all of them. But man, it was so funny that he's like...
You're like calling people in to be like, what scenarios haven't we considered yet?
Yeah,
These
we're
are
calling
what we've
like...
got.
We're
What are
calling
the
a
other
meeting
ones?
of the board.
Yeah.
God, it was so funny. But Dave, we worked through it.
Yeah.
He's no longer jealous of T-Pain. And also, I will say, he came to this situation knowing that it was completely ridiculous that he felt this way, but he needed to say it out loud. And I did like laugh at him for like 45 minutes after he first said it. And then we worked through it emotionally.
What was the final thing that made it like he's no longer worried?
Well, we just talked about how strong our relationship is and that nobody can come between us, not even T-Pain.
Not even a person you're more realistically going to see all the time and interact with.
Yeah.
Those are like the actual concerns are people. Not that you should be concerned at all.
Totally. But like in normal relationships.
Realistic concerns are like, oh, we see Connor every Monday.
Yeah.
Connor, stay away. Don't worry, Dave. I'm here. I'll get between them. He's going to be worried about Connor for 2 months now.
Yeah. But instead he's worried about Tennessee Pain. He's worried about Mr. Tennessee Pain.
Yeah, we're trapped in a room with Connor every Monday for an hour and 15 minutes.
I know. I just love the way he talks about
a lot of opportunities for things to happen.
I love the way how he talks about all the new equipment that he's gotten that I know nothing about. Oh boy.
Yeah,
gets me going.
He's obviously trying something.
Yeah. He's like, we're getting new lights. And I'm like, oh.
He sent us a contract.
Yeah. Yeah, and Dave's like, what is this? What the hell? If T-Pain sent me a contract, Dave would have an aneurysm. Yeah. I did DM T-Pain to play a specific song, but he didn't get back to me, so I think we're good. I think we're clear.
You think he goes off stage, he's like, what should I do next? He looks at his DM.
Yeah, and I'm like, You and That by E40 and T-Pain.
Like he's a DJ?
Or I don't know, I was like, hey, it's my birthday, can you play this song? Like hoping maybe it would get to him, but simply did not. Funny. Left me on unseen.
Man, that's so great.
Yeah, so me and Dave are stronger than ever.
You heard it here.
Yeah, Connor, you better watch it. What the hell?
I'm gonna write a report now, just in case.
Yeah.
Just about how I feel about what Connor might do. This doesn't make any sense.
I know.
I'm just gonna write a diary entry about just concerns that don't mean anything.
Yeah. Well, they were talking about the lights a lot.
He's always like, oh, we're making changes to the studio.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah.
I like
your blue shirt.
I like how we're talking about Connor like he's one of our like slow cousins. Oh, nice. You're making changes to the studio. We're being so unnecessarily mean to Connor.
When I was in Philly with my with the baby, she watched a lot of Mrs. Rachel. Do you know of Mrs. Rachel?
I don't know.
She's
Mrs.
like the
Rachel.
new big like YouTube kid star.
Okay.
Right? She's probably like my age, and she goes on YouTube and she's like, what's the weather today? And she has all these like, activity. I think it's pretty good, actually. I watched a lot of it. I was watching it. I was like, she started doing these sections on like emotions. And I was like, I'm learning a lot.
You have to write that bit. Please write that bit.
I actually was watching it thinking like, how come I didn't get to learn about emotions when I was a young kid?
Well, because they didn't invent emotions when you were younger.
I think, they didn't know.
They didn't think kids had emotions until they were like 25 and their like frontal cortex was fully developed.
But I'm like jealous that kids get to learn about that stuff
That now Lucy gets to know what it means to be sad or frustrated.
Because it reminds me too, the other week when I came in here and I was telling you guys about how when I first started therapy, like he was trying to give me a basic understanding of some emotional responses. Yeah. Because I couldn't identify what I was feeling. Yeah. Like he was like doing this thing where he's like, okay, here's a blue piece of paper. Hold it in front of your face. Now bring it closer to your face. And trying to basically tell me like sometimes your emotions they feel super intense. Yeah, yeah. Like, and it's all you can focus on. Totally. You can't see anything else. Which is like seems really basic. I'm like, yeah, that's because I never got to do this as a kid. So anyway, follow Mrs. Rachel. Yeah, subscribe to Mrs. Rachel.
Yeah, and subscribe to us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. Rachel, for teaching my my best friend of, who's 36 what emotions are for the first time. Even though she's been in years of therapy.
She was like, at one point, she was like, sometimes you'll get sad, right?
And then you're like, yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah. And then she's like, you'll feel like this, but it will pass. And I'm like, I always forget that. I always forget that part. That's the part I can't remember.
It's okay to feel sad. And you're like, yeah, it is. Thank you, Mrs. Rachel.
That is a bit. I got to write that down.
Absolutely it is. Oh my God.
Oh man, we got to get into my story.
Yeah, get into your story.
We got a long post too. I think the story is kind of short.
Okay, cool.
So this is it's a story about a family reunion. Hey, Connor. I don't know what year. So one family reunion on my dad's side. He has 9 siblings. So it's a big reunion. It's one of these ones you show up. I don't know, like a lot of the nieces and nephews. Like I've never met them. Yeah. Or they've just changed so much. I've only known them as a baby or something.
Totally.
And I go and sit down at this table where my Uncle Troy is at. And he's sitting there. This guy is really goofy, by the way. This is the one that talks to me about conspiracy theories.
Oh, yes.
He's like really into the moon landing stuff.
Yeah.
Probably flat Earth, but he focuses on the moon landing, I feel like.
Yeah, that's one of the big ones.
You gotta
it's
pick
honestly kind of hack.
Your expertise.
It's like being like, I love rock and roll. Yeah. I love AC/DC.
I like the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, it's like, come on, do some more. Give me something a little bit more
like
off kilter.
Like an indie conspiracy.
Yeah, I want somebody to be like, the moon is made of cheese.
Yeah.
Or be like, I'm sorry, I'm not getting a credit card. Or something like that.
Yeah. So he's really into that stuff. I sit down with him, kind of expecting that it's gonna be funny somehow.
Totally.
And I sit down, I'm like, what's up? And he's at this table and he's holding on to this monster truck toy, like a kid's toy. And he's kind of just like rolling it back and forth a little. And then I look down and there's a bee. There's a dead bee right in front of it. And he sees that I notice it. And he's like, oh yeah, I killed that bee. He's like, I rolled it over. I rolled it over with the monster truck.
This sounds like...
And then he starts showing me the motion. Acting that out, just like I acted out getting a quarter out of my pocket.
Yeah. I was about to say, this sounds like your dad being like, I found a quarter in that parking lot I picked you up in.
So
definitely related.
So my uncle's like, yep, I killed that bee. And he's like, watch this. Okay. He's so serious about it too. He's like, watch. See, he's dead. His body parts are all over the place. His bee friends are going to come any minute now. I'm waiting for them. They're going to come because they're going to be like, what's going on here? They know he's dead and they're all coming here.
They're going to show up and be like, the carnage.
Yeah.
You see a bee being like, don't look. Look.
Yeah.
No. Oh my God, don't look. Is anybody a doctor?
Yeah. And they're going to want to know what happened. All right. He's like, watch. And then bees did come over and like start looking at the body parts. Like, they're like, what happened here? Like someone called them.
There's like a little
like
bee stretcher.
Can smell it or something. Yeah. There's a stretcher. The community of bees is like lining up in the corner. There's people sobbing everywhere.
There's a little bee priest being like, hum shiva, hum shiva, hum shiva.
There's one guy. There's always that one guy who's like, get out of the way, make room.
Yeah.
Who's like not like just looking. He's like trying to be part of the.
He's trying to be a hero.
Part of the action.
Yeah.
So the bees start coming over, and he's like, see. And now they're over here. He's like, once they come over, I'm going to kill them too.
Oh my God.
He was just set on killing a family of bees.
Yeah.
Yeah, related to my dad.
Yeah, this sounds a lot like the moles.
He didn't seem to feel bad though. Like, I'm not worried. He wasn't worried about the kids.
Yeah, no. Yeah. That's the difference between your dad and Uncle Troy.
Yeah, the only difference. So then more bees come over, and he's just sitting there rolling over them. Like, proud of his work. That's the story.
It really sounds
that's
like...
my last memory of him. Like, that's the last time I saw him and interacted with him. So every time someone brings up Uncle Troy, I think of this. It's going to be this for the rest of my life unless he can replace it with something new.
Yeah.
Next time I see him, and it has to be equivalent. Like,
yeah, it has to be that exciting.
It has to be equally exciting. I don't think he can get there.
Yeah.
I think this is the memory I have
yeah.
of my Uncle Troy.
Also, him being like, hey, watch this. The other bees are going to come over. You know he, like, does this.
Yeah.
You know that he, like, does this a lot
he
and knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
Also, he's like, hey, what's up, Brittany? Haven't seen you in years. Anyway, look at this.
He didn't interact with anyone the whole time, I feel like. He just sat there and killed bees.
Do you think he brought that truck from home?
Yeah, I don't remember a kid trying to get it. He brought the truck. He's like, I don't want to talk to my family. I'm going to do the bee thing.
Yeah.
I'll entertain.
He's like, you said it's outside? Good.
Yeah. He spilled like little juices around.
Yeah. He's like, this'll get him.
Yeah.
He's like, they like Mountain Dew the most.
Yeah.
That'll get him. Fucking idiots.
Yeah, it was funny. Should we do our post?
Yeah, let's get into our posty.
All right.
We're going to read a post from an internet user. Pew, 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 pew. We should get a soundboard. I've been saying this since the beginning.
Yeah.
We need a soundboard.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about it later.
I got it pulled up. Hey, pretty quick for me.
There we go.
Not that good, but good for
write in
me.
the comments if you think that we should have a soundboard and what you think the soundboard should say on it. I think it should say internet user.
Internet user, Rat King, I guess.
Yeah, I guess like what are little clips?
Yeah.
What are little... We'll talk about it later.
Eat shit, cut dirt.
Eat shit, cut dirt.
Yeah. We'll talk about it more.
We should have one that says, and that's a DOH violation.
Yeah. All right. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend she needs to get a real job and she will never be a famous comedian? Oh!
Did Dave write this?
Yeah.
Did Dave and Dwayne write this together?
They wrote together.
What the hell?
Me, I'm... The way he wrote this is weird. He's 31. His girlfriend's 28. Her and I have been together for 6 years and have been living together for the last 2. Gonna attempt to keep this short. Girlfriend has always enjoyed doing comedy and has done open mics since we've met shortly after college. Oh, okay, so she's been open micing for 6 years. 8 years,
6 years. No, sorry, it's 6.
Well,
You're
over
right.
6.
Damn.
She has a real sales job. That was her Monday 9 to 5, where she made decent money. I have a good but hard job. I'm the one that really puts effort in.
He's like, I'm coding every day.
Yeah.
Even though he couldn't, he's like, I have a real job where I do real stuff. I code. And then like his girlfriend has a job where she has to talk to people and he can't talk to people.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but mine's real.
Yeah.
Maybe people just have different skills. Everything of that.
I have a good but hard job, and I make almost triple what my girlfriend was making when she had her job. I said had because last August she quit her job because it was taking away from her comedy ventures. I wouldn't call it a venture. That makes it seem like it's
going somewhere.
It's a business and you get startup money involved and I don't know.
Yeah.
Really, it's just a sad life.
If you, I'm sorry to say this.
Don't start if you don't need to.
If you are devoting your life to comedy, I understand taking 6 years and doing open mics if you're heavily doing other stuff and you're not doing open mics every single night.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it every single night and it takes 6 years.
Yeah.
That's
and if
tough.
you're only doing mics.
Yeah. And you're not it's not going anywhere. You're
it's not going to feel good.
You're not even getting booked on like bar shows and stuff. You got to reevaluate.
Big time. Also, it's just like when you're doing mics, like when you first start and you're doing a lot of mics, it is so painful and it is like every day is like a huge struggle and it really sucks.
Yes.
And you rarely feel good about yourself as a comedian.
Yeah.
So you really need another thing to feel good about.
Yes.
Because if you can't feel good consistently with that thing,
then you're just going to be depressed.
You got to at least be able to talk to people who want to buy a skirt or whatever.
Yeah. Or whatever her girl's sales job.
Yeah, whatever your other thing is, you can be like, well, at least I got that.
At least I made some good commish today.
Yeah. I think like just to do comedy, starting out and doing the open mics would just be so much more depressing.
Yeah, totally.
Even though I do have an urge to only do it because it's like, it'd be nice to focus.
No, of course, but you also are booked on shows and like in a way.
I mean like even early on.
Oh, gotcha.
I would have wanted to only do that.
Yeah, I mean we all want to, but it's a bad decision.
Yeah. Okay. Quit her job, said it was taking away from her comedy. She told me it was like a year from now she thinks she can really make it. I was a bit skeptical, but since I make enough to support us, I encouraged her because I want to be a supportive boyfriend.
Man.
Since she quit her job, she begun doing Uber and DoorDash, which is where she makes 100% of her money. Her comedy has gotten us $0. Over the past few months, I've started to resent her, though. She constantly complains she has no money, yet drives for Uber or DoorDash maybe 3 times a week for maybe 4 hours at a time. I've been paying a lot more for household expenses. I'm not saving as much as I'd like to anymore. She sleeps till noon because sometimes her open mics are really late. Yep. Man, I remember being at like 3 hour, 4 hour mics. It's like my whole night.
Dude, going up for 3 minutes and then eating your own dick on stage.
Yeah.
Such a nightmare.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And just being surrounded by people who are all equally
equally
like,
bad.
Don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not even that like everybody in the room is bad. It's that nobody wants to listen to you. They're just waiting to go up.
Yes.
It's not people who want to watch comedy at all.
Usually it's not like a show, at least not in New York.
Yeah.
There are open mics in other cities
where
it's
are
like
shows.
More like a show and those can be really fun and like valuable. Anyway, when she gets up, she just bums around on TikTok and YouTube looking for inspiration. She also gets very moody with me if I don't come to 90% of her open mics.
Oh,
no.
Absolutely not.
This is all wrong.
No, I'm not.
In the beginning, you're supposed to avoid having anyone see you.
Yes. I would never ask anyone to come to an open mic.
No.
Ever.
No.
Oh, God. Not on material that I'm working on. Jesus Christ.
No. Even my friends who are comics seeing me at a mic sometimes, I'm like...
Feels bad.
I'm like, damn it.
There's mics that I go to and I'm like, I have to do material that is not new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, same.
God.
Even after working a 14-day hour, she'll get mad if I don't go to her open mic at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday. That's unreasonable. She shouldn't be going.
Yeah.
Last night I did the unthinkable. The unthinkable.
He's like, I killed her.
I asked her to consider. I killed her. Am I the asshole? I asked her to consider going back to the full-time job. I said she should still do comedy, but I'm struggling with taking care of our expenses. When she gave a dismissive answer, I told her firmly, I spoke sharply. I told her firmly that she'll never be a famous comedian. That's rude.
Okay, yeah, that's rude.
I said she's 28. It's time to grow the fuck up. Oh,
First of
that's
all,
rude.
She is younger than both of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like you're talking to me right now.
Yeah.
Enjoying the real world because this is totally unfair to me that I bust my ass while she lives in La La Land. He said all this? Yeah. I think he like held it in for a long time and then it came out really
really bad.
Yeah. Really bad. Because I mean what he's asking her to do is reasonable.
Totally.
But
yeah.
the way he's saying it is not. And she can't be this. Oh, there's more. She can't be this naive at this age by thinking she's going to support herself with this.
Oh, boy.
She stared at me in silence for a few minutes, started crying, went to stay with a friend, called me a fucking dickhead asshole.
Well, she's right about that.
Yeah.
He is being a dickhead asshole.
She has not answered her phone today yet. So am I a fucking dickhead asshole? That's what he wrote. I mean, it's only the way he said it. I think yeah, if she's living on his money, basically.
Yeah.
And
She's freeloading.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like she's going to be anywhere soon to be able to make money.
Also, like,
definitely not in the year that she estimated.
You and I are so much further than she is in our career.
And making no money.
Both of us have day jobs.
Yeah.
Like, there are people who I, like, think are, like, the funniest people in the world, and they've been doing it for, like, 10 years, and they are good, and they are going to make it, and they still have day jobs because comedy just doesn't fucking pay like that.
Yeah. And did they say they're here? I don't know. I'm
don't
imagining them in New York, but
I don't think that they said anything.
because especially here, you can't really not. There's no way you can live on, like, until you're really big. You can't really
like,
live on it.
Just for, like, reference for the audience, if you get $20 for a showcase show, that's, like, really good.
It's pretty good. For where we're at.
Yeah, for where we're at. And, like, you can tour
even
and
at the
headline
Cellar,
and stuff.
I think
it's like $50.
50.
Yeah. It's $50 for a 10-minute set. So the people who
and that's the best club in the world.
Yes, totally. And so, like, in order to, like, make a living doing that, you have to do multiple sets a night every single night for $50 each.
Or you have to travel a lot and
or you
headline.
have to tour, and headline.
Yeah.
You can make good money headlining. Like, Dave and I have, like, toured together, and I make much less money than him, but, like, the checks that he gets can, like, support him.
Yeah.
And they'll, like, put you up and stuff like that. But it's, like, she's not there yet.
No.
And, like, sometimes I meet people who are, like, I'm quitting my job to do comedy. And I'm like, that is the worst decision I've ever heard in my entire life.
Unless you have a trust fund, which is what a lot of
people do.
The ones that do have that,
Yeah, of course. Yeah. If you have a trust fund or something like that, then by all means.
Anytime I see someone who has quit their job or doesn't have a job and is doing comedy and they just seem chill and relaxed, I'm like, I know
they're rich.
I know you have a source somewhere.
They're 100% rich. Yeah. And they're like,
I could not focus if I didn't know how I was gonna get stuff.
Yes, totally. And that's why I feel like people who make it, like the people who like actually make it who didn't grow up rich or anything, they have to be like slightly mentally ill because the middle part of doing comedy where you don't have a day job, but you are like on your way up and working. So you're not making enough money to really support yourself.
Yeah.
But you had to quit like your day job, like is the most stressful place a person can be in financially.
Yeah.
And so you have to be like a little bit mentally ill to get to that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I think it's worth it and like the risk is.
Unless you have like I don't know, there's some people who kind of like accelerated that because they have like a podcast that gets big and that pays their bills and they're able to do comedy in the podcast.
Hey, tell your friends about our podcast.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why we started this.
If it spreads, we might get ads. We might make some money.
Yeah.
We might quit our jobs.
Yeah, so allow us to quit our jobs. So we get ahead of people like this and the assholes who just have rich parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, be our parents.
Be our rich parents. We're asking you guys who comment for our feet every YouTube episode. We're asking you guys. Here, look at them. All right, now, send me $50 bucks.
Yeah, we got asked to wiggle more, I guess.
No.
I'm not doing it very well.
Dude, some guy was
I gotta practice before I bring this up. Is this what you want?
Is this what you want, you sick
I'm just
fucks?
like tremoring.
My Venmo is it's Ali O'Neill.
My Venmo is Brittany Cardwell. No dash. No dash.
Give me 50 grand.
Can you pay for my new wallet too? I need a new wallet. What else do I need? Oh, I want to get an air fryer.
So because Brittany
My birthday's
showed your
coming
feet, fucking get Brittany an air fryer for her socked foot.
I wonder how much they'd pay me if I smashed that can with my foot.
I don't know.
Write in if you'd pay us to smash cans with our feet.
worthlessclownspod@gmail.com.